Alrighty, we're gonna go over the trades I took this week. I went 2 for 4 this week, so 50% win rate, 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 break even. So we're gonna go over the thought process of these trades, the plan that I had, and then also how I was feeling because I didn't really end the week off strong. Well, technically I did, since I didn't take any trades on Friday. I was more focused on just the mental clarity and the I don't want to say mental clarity, but I was more focused on how I was mentally when I was approaching Friday. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So, first trade was taken on Sunday night on a we're trading Asia session for this one. And we were focusing on gold for this setup, gold longs, right? So, starting off on the higher time frame, I noticed that we were reacting to this higher time frame area of interest. I know that we were overall bearish, but price is a push and a pull. So after a huge move down to the downside, we did see some short-term bullish momentum over the last 2 4-hour candles. So I was anticipating this next 4-hour candle to put down the bottom wick and move back to the upside. And then the 1 hour had also a very nice shift in structure as well, as we had broken above these highs. And then price had also rejected this area of interest right here. We did get a 1 hour previous close bearish. 30-minute, we had a nice bullish 30-minute candle close, in which that does help support my bullish thesis for the meantime. We again have a nice type 3 bullish. Took out these lows, broke above the highs, kind of basing. And after that previous 30-minute candle close, we're looking for price to put that bottom wick to continue higher. 15-minute, same thing. We had a type 1 bullish candle close. Was anticipating price putting that bottom wick to flip higher. So another bullish confirmation. 5-minute, same situation. Price closed bullish, back type 2 bullish. And then I was just looking for price to create a pullback on that new 5-minute candle and flip bullish. And also structure on the lower time frame is looking bullish. Same with the 15-minute, just for the short term, as we were targeting this higher time frame selling area of interest right around here. And so on the 1 minute, we take a look. Price was short-term bearish, but the volume was obviously dying. We were making lower highs. We made equal lows right around here. Price broke above, took out these highs. We based for a little bit and then just waiting for price to break above these highs. I got in on the pullback, and then we ended up writing this for a quick 1.2 scalp. It was a nice trade, and I think that my for this trade, I think a learning lesson could be that I could have held it a little bit longer, at least into these highs right here. However, I wasn't going to be greedy, and I was also technically scalping during Asia session, and I'm not too confident in Asia session just yet. So working on building that repetition. Second trade was on gold as well. We had taken gold longs, focused on following the trend again, and this was kind of what happened. So as we saw in Asia session, we were kind of respecting this area of interest, but now we've seen closures above. So this is automatically looking bullish for me. 1 hour also had previously closed bullish, looking for a bottom wick to move to the upside. Same thing with here, previous bullish candle type 2 close as well. That was the 30-minute, 15-minute. Had a previous type 1 close, but we had closed above this previous high. So overall market structure was still bullish. 5-minute was also showing bullish momentum as well. As you can see, we're just trending up, so no point in trying to fade that move. price had pulled back, retested this area of interest, but I was looking for a better entry. And then on the 1 minute, which is something I think I've been doing very well, it's just waiting for type 3 shifts. On the 1 minute, we get a nice type 3 bullish shift. We tapped into this high time frame area of interest. We shoot up. And one thing I really enjoyed, or one thing that I was really proud of in this trade, was just the patience that I had. I could have taken it right here at stops below lows, but I wanted to see my entry model, in which we did get it right here. We had a pullback, stops below lows. Just looking to target these highs, in which I could have also held for a higher target. But consistency over perfection. That is something I will be looking to focus more on in the next week. It's just trying to hold on to my winners longer if price gives the opportunity to. Especially if we get a bunch of higher time frame alignments, I think it's okay to at least hold for a little bit longer. Okay, and now this is where things kind of get iffy. So I want to say going into this day, one thing I noted was emotionally, I hadn't taken a trade for 3 days. I think that does something to me almost. Like it almost feels like I have this itch or need to trade, and it's not good, not good at all. So going over this trade, one issue that I already noticed is that we were trading past 8 o'clock. I usually have my cutoff time around 8 o'clock, and this is kind of like a sign of me looking for a trade, in my opinion. But we'll go ahead and go over it. So the 4 hour had previously closed bullish, as we can see. So looking to create that bottom wick. And then the previous 1 hour had closed bearish. So realistically should be looking for the top wick to form to move lower. But overall momentum is still looking bullish. But we were reacting, but my thesis was that we were reacting to these highs right here. So it could have been printing bearish, but then momentum did shift into bullish momentum, or did shift to the upside. 30-minute had a nice type 1 close, which was very nice. 15-minute also had a nice type 1 close. 5-minute had a type 1 close as well. And so it really came down to the 1 minute, right? Where was my entry? My entry was right here on this pullback, and in anticipation that this internal low was going to be protected, when it really should have been focused more on this low, right? Price had moved up into this area where we did have a previous level and we rejected. So that's not really, it's not really a good idea to take shorts or to take longs in this case, right? Also, there was a nice type 3 shift, but guess where the type 3 shift played out from? Down here. So that's another mistake that I made, is that I should have really been playing this larger type 3 shift and had stops below these lows, or just waited for a better entry. Because right here is kind of a signal of like short-term bearish momentum where we put in a double top or potential move down. And yeah, so when it came to the execution, I was okay with taking a loss, but one thing that really was triggering, I think, was when I got out, it was not the best execution on my live account. My live account, I had accidentally spammed the sell button multiple times instead of clicking exit market and cancel. So yes, it did get me out, but then it immediately put me in short positions, in which it would have worked out in the short term. But that the execution was me clicking exit market and cancel, and with commissions and whatnot, it made the loss was larger than expected. And I think that that was something that really triggered me. Being like, oh shit, like I took a larger loss than I should have. And so that led to the next trade, which I felt personally was like an impulse slash FOMO trade. I really had a almost like a need to make the money back, but I did separate myself from that a little bit. And I told myself, look, I'm just going to take this on the evals, because there's no point in putting on more risk right now if I'm feeling this type of emotion. So de-risked in terms of trading only one account, moved to the eval account, and then I took this trade, which was kind of an impulsive buy, in my opinion. And we'll go over it. So same overall thesis, right? We had a nicer pullback. And this is where my entry was just shit, right? We get in right as we have this huge impulse move up, which makes sense because this is just a pullback on the type 3. I had originally moved, I had stops below this low. First targets were these highs. And as we broke above these highs, I moved my stops. Immediately, I was already in drawdown as I got into my position, which is not good, right? That means that I didn't get the right entry. And at that time, I wasn't focused on aligning the time frames. 5 minute was already had this big bearish close, or no, had this big move up, but we didn't get a close. So we were trading based off of this 5 minute candle. 15 minute, yes, we did have a close bullish. We did have a close bullish. But that was that was before my entry. So I got extremely lucky because if you think about it, look at where I got my entry on this 15 minute when I should be really playing this new 15 minute candle. I got in at the top and at an area where there was a potential level as well. I should have been waiting for a pullback, and I think that the entry came from just pure emotion of FOMO and not wanting to miss out on the actual move. Knowing that I did miss out, or knowing that I had misplaced my stops and just not it being the best entry, I was like, okay, hold on, what the fuck am I doing? And yeah, but luckily we did hit TP1, in which I did get a little stubborn and I did not close at all. And then we ended up stopping out for break even. And overall, the direction was correct in terms of following the candle behavior and market structure. But in terms of execution, it was not the best. And I think that it has now kind of shifted me. It shifted my mindset a little bit in my trust in myself, which first of all, I need to tell myself, I need to remind myself that this is one error that I've made. It doesn't define who I am as a trader. If I take a look at this month so far, I am still executing very well. I need to detach from every single outcome and just make sure that in the next trades, in the next couple of days of taking trades, if the opportunity presents itself, that I execute my plan and my strategy to its highest potential. It's definitely a mental battle for sure. Like I realize these things. I remember the like in last month I even talked about this where I didn't take a couple trades, or I didn't take a trade in a couple days, and that did trigger some reason for me to get into another trade. And that's something that I'm still working on. That's something I'm very self-aware of. And I know that I need to really set systems in place to be able to curb that before it gets out of hand. But the first step is always self-realization. And now the next step for me is implementing these steps. So now how can I prevent this from happening again? Well, I know that I think that from now on, if I feel this itch to trade, I should just walk away. Like I need to figure out a way to get myself to walk away. In which I did a very good job not trading in within the hour that I should have been trading. Not forcing any setups, but it was after. I think that was a little bit triggering. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just extend my time a little bit to see if any setups come. Took one mid setup. Other setup was mid as well, just in terms of entry. So they're just little things I need to tweak. But overall, we did end the week green. We had a very nice let me actually see what that closes for you. Because it's always good to see progress. So let's see what this week's progress was. I know I did end red on my personal account because of that loss, but in terms of execution wise, it should have been a good. It was still a good week. So this week, yeah. So we're still up. So it's very nice. Very nice. Take a look right here. These are the trades. Wish I could see really two. Nice. Breaking trade. Yep. So very, very consistent winners. Two. Okay, perfect. Yeah. I think, yeah, my losing trade or my winning trades just need to be a little bit bigger. So I need to figure that out somehow. Let's see. I mean, they're a little bit over double, but and just that's just based off my risk reward. I could work a little bit better on improving my risk reward, but overall, it's still ending green. So very grateful for that. Another green week. So kudos to that. Next week, focused on continuing to just follow my plan, follow my process. I'm doing a very good job at following the direction of the trend. That is something that if you guys have watched my past recap videos, January was a month where I was just not in the flow state with the market. But I truly still feel like I'm in the flow state right now. So it's going to be very important for me to identify how strong of the flow state that I'm in, and also when I feel like I'm almost getting detached from the flow states so that I can take the precautions in my executions to make sure that I have the highest confidence in myself when I take these trades. Other than that, that's going to be the trade recap for the week. Another successful week of learning. There were definitely ups and downs, but the opportunities that the market presents itself is always there to improve and grow. And that is definitely a mindset now that I have fully embodied, especially in the state of just being a profitable trader. This is what profitable traders do. You always want to just focus on the opportunities that the market presents to you to learn and grow. There's a video, if you guys don't know who Justin Werline is, but he says to see the market as always presenting you an opportunity every single day. Market can tell you, look, I'm not going to give you any setups today, Brian, but how are you going to react? How are you going to emotionally feel during that day? That's an opportunity of learning. Or it can present to you the highest quality setups, telling you, look, Brian, here is an A+ setup. How are you going to react? Are you going to sit there and just watch it move? Or are you going to actually execute upon your plan and recognize that this is a very good data sample for you to collect in order for you to continue to make progress? And so just having that perspective shift is extremely important, and being able to just always learn. That's the big key thing. Just detach from the P&L. I got caught up in that today, and I think it's okay because we're human, but there's got to be a way to just fully detach from it. And that's what the best traders do. They detach from their P&L, they detach from the outcome of every single trade, and know that every single trade is always, there's always a learning opportunity. And when you just walk into the markets with that mindset, it feels so different. It feels extremely different to 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 trade. It's like that aha moment. I guarantee the aha moment is just when you realize that the aha moment is just having confidence in trust in yourself to do the right thing. That was my aha moment. I think that the losses and wins really don't matter now. My aha moment was realizing how much I trust myself to execute on my plan. Because, and I think Thursday was a great reminder of me finding out, or was a great, I think Thursday was realistically how I figured out the aha moment, because I remember that day when I was feeling a little down. I'm being completely honest. I was like, dude, what is wrong with my execution? Why am I not doing what I need to do? I remember feeling like that over the first, like just the 3 to 4 years of not me being profitable, right? And I did not want that feeling. So I told myself, like, why do I feel like this? just kind of like retracing back to the root cause of why I felt like that. And it was because I didn't do what I needed to, what I was supposed to do. I was getting into trades late. I wasn't focused on finding the best entry, the best optimal entry. I was just getting in because I felt this urge to make money. And that's damn near gambling, right? And that's the feeling that causes you to not feel like you have trading down yet. Does that make sense? Like you feel like you're there, but you're not there because you're too focused on the outcome and you're too focused on the monetary value. But the moment you just shift your mindset and feel good about the fact that you executed the trade and you executed the plan and strategy that you set out every single morning before the market, before your time that you trade in the markets, that's the aha moment. That's the best feeling in the world. Like it truly feels so good. Every single trade that I've taken, at least before Thursday, I felt extremely good despite the outcome. And that was because I followed my plan. I followed my process. I had trust in myself to be able to execute upon that. And so it's definitely, it's crazy. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's crazy that I'm just realizing this now. But figure out when you're gonna give yourself the aha moment, right? Your aha moment, I'm telling you what my aha moment was. And I think it's what majority of people's aha moment is gonna be. It's when you realize that you can fully trust yourself to execute upon the plan that you set out every single morning, knowing that you're gonna follow your rules, you're gonna follow your risk management plan, and you're not gonna take trades out of wanting to make money. Because that's not what trading is about. Trading is about self mastery. And a lot of people don't get that. So if there's one thing I could pass on, let's say if there's one thing I could pass on to my past self, it's to stop over leveraging, stop chasing that instant gratification, stop chasing that high of a winning trade. Because that's not what's going to make you successful. Also stop chasing different strategies, right? I've been sticking to this strategy for almost now it's only gonna be almost a year now. So imagine that. Before that, the last 4 years, I've been chasing different strategies. I couldn't stick to one. And that's when there are like five levels to this, right? Like there's the one where you're gambling, losing money. And then there's a point in time where you realize like, okay, look, the gambling part is not gonna it's not gonna get you anywhere. And so now you have to figure out a strategy. But in order to get into that third step, that third level of being that trader, you have to stick to that strategy, even through the losing periods and through like the tough times of just staying on the strategy. Don't deviate from it. Like truly just stick to it and figure out how you can improve your win rate by taking trades and collecting data. And then the second to final stage is when you start working through those kinks and you realize like, oh, like the strategy does work, but you're still through that in that break even phase, or sometimes like just in the minor drawdown. And that just comes, and then to get to that final stage, it comes just with risk management, knowing when to capitalize on the highest quality setups that your strategy provides, and knowing when to de-risk when market doesn't present you opportunities. So those are like the five stages that I've realized I've been going through. I definitely am going through the, I guess you can say, enlightenment phase where like things are just clicking now. Like I know what to do. Like it feels almost effortless now, and it's such a great feeling to feel, especially after just going through the years of pain. And yeah, I'm extremely proud of myself for that because back then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I never really committed to anything, you know. Basketball, didn't commit to that. Skateboarding, was committed, but didn't really care enough. And then, you know, you go to college and when COVID hit, you're just like, dude, if the government can force me to fucking sit at home and not work, how am I gonna make money? You find trading, and it's like it's always something I think I've always wanted to do in the back of my head. Like I remember seeing this one video by Jubilee. It was Uber or DoorDash driver versus um day trader day in a life. And just the idea of being able to make money on the charts and making thousands of dollars a day was just fucking insane to me, especially at that time. Like making $1,000 through the screen was fucking impeccable. And I think that that has always just been stuck in the back of my subconscious mind throughout high school and college that once the opportunity presented itself through just internet money, and for God, I have to thank for that because now I'm truly doing something I really enjoy. Like I fucking love trading. You got to be on another level of psychotic to be able to take on a career like this. You know, you sure you don't provide value. I'm gonna be honest, you don't provide any fucking value at all. You're damn near a gambler, right? You gotta think of it like a poker, like you're playing poker but on a screen. But it's just the self mastery I think that I've learned to grow and fall in love with in the process of trading that I really would not have taken it any other way. And now I'm definitely going on a little rant, but I'm just kind of reflecting on the journey that I've been, and it's fucking crazy to see how much progress I've made. I think sometimes as traders, you kind of get lost in the amount of progress you make because you're too fixated on just constantly improving and identifying what you're doing right and wrong. Like, yes, that's the main point. Every day you should be figuring out what you did right, what you could do better. But to take the time and reflect to see how much progress that I, at least for me, like for me to reflect right now and to see how much progress I've made over the last 5 years is just it's just amazing. So yeah. And even tracking in a journal like this, you know, like this is now my second iteration of this journal. Just having this is also an improvement. Like I never journaled my trades throughout at least the first 2.5 years, right? I did jump through journal to journal where I would trade on Discord and then TradeZella. But just seeing the data like this just makes me so much more excited to want to not take another trade, but to collect data. Try to reframe it in a way that makes sense, but it feels good for me to collect data. And I am forever grateful for trading and the journey that I have embarked on. Like I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have this, to be honest. I just remember when I first started, I would get excited just making 20 to 50 bucks, which don't get me wrong, like it's a good feeling to make money, right? But it's also so funny to see how emotionally immature I was back then. It wasn't professional at all. And yeah, I don't know. It's finally nice to see the progress kicking in. And it's going to be a skill that I have for the rest of my life. So I know that the time that I spend now, like although it might seem like it's a little bit longer for anyone that is, you know, looking for some sort of motivation, it might seem like it's taking a little long, but trust me, this feeling that I'm feeling right now is extremely worth it. It feels like I've unlocked like a new level of life, you know. Like I can be printing fucking thousands of dollars, which I am, right? Like I already see that. Like obviously there's the new level of something called scaling where you got to be comfortable with the risk you take, but like in terms of just knowing that I can make thousands and have it be in my account whenever, thousands, if not even millions to some point. It's like pretty crazy. So, anyways, yep, that's gonna be the trade recap for the week. I don't know who watches this, but thank you for watching. This is my journey that I am currently embarking on. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below if you want to connect, talk, hang out, something like that. Always just reach out to me. I would love to get to know more traders and what their journey is like. And yeah, I mean, this is just raw. I don't really plan on editing these trade recaps anytime soon because I want it to be so raw, like how I see my progress so far throughout the week. And I just really try to work on free flowing my thoughts and words because one thing that I am working on is just my statement or my set, no, my link. Jesus, how do I say this? My speech. I'm trying to work on my speech, being more literate, being more outgoing. And so, if you can relate to where you're at on this journey, just reach out. Let's talk about it. I don't know, just at this point blabbering, but we'll go ahead and end it.